Let's do it.
Let's hit go. All right.
Cool. Is it good to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's good to go. Well, we
Yeah.
got Peter here with us. What's up, man?
Hi,
Hey.
guys.
And
Thanks for having
Emily
me.
with Strike. We saw Peter at Level Up Your Listing last week. I'm sad that it's over. That was
I
a lot of fun.
know. It was so much fun.
Great 2 days. It's fun.
I know.
Yeah.
Emily, by the way, I have a conference idea for this next fall that I'm thinking about that I need to tell
Ooh.
you more about. So, Peter, be
Okay.
on the lookout. We might be doing a conference potentially soon. We'll see.
Don't
You
tell
might.
my wife. She's all up on the conferences. She will
It's
definitely
all
fly.
I know we're coming off the high. We're like, we want to keep it going.
Yeah.
As Emily has told me, like all the emails we're seeing now are like, let's keep the energy and the momentum rolling, baby.
Every single one of all the companies that were there sending out their follow-up emails are like, let's keep the
that
momentum going. Every single one.
That's hilarious. Well, without further ado, let's dive into the 10-step
Let's do
playbook
it.
to get into this thing. So, Peter, just a little recap for you and for everyone else that's watching. We are doing a 10-step roadmap or 10-step playbook to going from nothing to finding and acquiring and setting up your next profitable short-term rental. And we came up with 10 steps for this whole process. I actually recently revised this to even like a 5-step framework that we're also working on that we'll do separately. But this is a kind of nitty-gritty detail 10 steps to like actually go through the whole process from like nothing to actually launching a super successful, profitable short-term rental. So let me share my screen real quick. And it's fun because Emily is our guinea pig with this. So we are going to be using her example.
Yeah, I
Can
do
you
not
see my
have an STR currently.
Can you see my screen here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. For some reason, it's like blurry on this thing, but so yeah, Emily does not currently have a short-term rental, although she knows all about them from what she's learned with Strike. And so our goal is at the end of this thing, Emily can actually buy a short-term rental this year and get to experience it. So that's our hope is we're trying to democratize this for everyone to make it easier for everyone to get into it. And Emily is a great test case of she works with Strike. She knows all about the data. She knows how to use the right tools. Now she just needs to actually execute on it. And if capital might be a problem, learning how to even talk to capital partners to go unlock that. And so we've got these 10 steps here in school that y'all can reference. Is it blurry on y'all's end or is it look good?
Mm-mm.
Okay, for some reason it's like blurry on mine. So we went through step 1 and then we went through step 2 and now today we're on step 3, learning how to underwrite. And so just to recap, Emily, can you just remind us like why you even want to do this in the first place and
Yeah.
a little bit more about your buy box that we talked about?
Definitely want cash flow monthly, as well as remind me of the other ones. Now, of course, since it's like recording, I'm like, wait, what were they?
Cash
Cash
flow,
flow,
tax write-offs, wealth building, and memories.
wealth building, tax write-offs, then memories.
Yeah. And then you said on the buy box, if we're trying to like get you to a point to replace your income, remind me how much cash flow are you trying to get to again?
Yeah, I talked to Brady and he said, because we're not trying at this point to get Brady to quit his job. So we actually need to change that number.
Okay.
Because he loves what he's doing. He's growing in that field.
Okay.
And so we didn't actually talk about an exact number, but I would say in order to get us like financial freedom, we would need probably only like 3,000 to 4,000 more a month.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it then. So that means honestly, you could do that with one property if you were to do that, or maybe two, depending on if you were to go invest on your own or go with the capital partner. So,
Right.
is your preference to invest on your own, or are you trying to go with the capital partner potentially? Like Peter, he might be your partner on this.
Yeah.
He's ready to invest.
At this very moment, we would need a capital partner, but
Okay.
we might have some more large checks coming very soon for other personal reasons. But
Perfect. Okay. Well, cool. Well, let's dive in and let's go find that deal and underwrite it.
Let's do it.
So now that we know generally what you're looking for, let me reset these filters here. Um, Now we're gonna zoom into the map. So like what we're getting on Strike app here. It's the new 2.0 that's launching May 1st. And so, as a recap, we're replacing Zillow, AirDNA spreadsheets and bringing all the data in one place so that you can instantly see the best stuff to go shopping for. So, Emily, what I usually do, I know you live in Charlottesville, right? So you're like right here.
Yeah, we're southwest of that. Those like that little cluster of where it says Palmyra,
Yeah, right here.
and then right below that. Yeah.
Okay. So what, most people are like, hey, where do I even start looking? Since you're really targeting cash flow as like a big thing and it's your first one, my recommendation is, put a pinpoint like where you're at and then zoom
Mhm.
out and then look in like a 6 hour radius around you. Obviously you
Yeah.
can go invest in the Smoky Mountains or like wherever you want to, but I feel like that's a great starting point to search because you're kind of close by, you're figuring it out, and you're like easy driving distance if you need to go to like
Yeah.
see the
Right.
property for whatever reason. So now let's use these filters that we have a Strike to find it. And so I'm gonna put like a minimum of like $500 a month in net cash flow. Peter, did you see all this at the conference, by the way?
Yeah, and Emily and I yesterday spent about half an hour going through this.
Okay, cool. So we're tailoring this for her specific situation. Again, you can tailor it for yours as well. So I'm gonna put it like a minimum of like a 5% cash on cash. Again, because we underwrite everything as if it's like average, knowing you can get above average, and we'll show you that here in a minute. And in this case, let's do no minimum on revenue since capital might be a little bit more constrained, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute. And we'll say max budget. Let's just go a little bit lower just in case so it's easier to raise a capital if you need to and have more budget for like the amenities and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe let's just say anything less than like 600 grand revenue or purchase price. And let's just see what pops up here. Okay. So now we've got a bunch of stuff in this area and let's just zoom in to this region. And as you look around here, like you obviously have like Shenandoah Park,
Mhm.
and then I think you have like Winter's Green and all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff. My buddy lives in
Mhm.
Lynchburg. Are any of these interesting to you? Like these areas that you kind of want to look at further?
Um, I think wintergreen is right about there where
Mm,
you just were. I would say those two, or there's one up above. Yeah, that one. I know
okay.
there's a lot of restrictions in Charlottesville itself, so we probably wouldn't look there.
Okay, this one's kind of cool. Let's look at that. So this is just like a cabin near Shenandoah. It looks like it needs quite a bit of capital though to
Mhm.
build it out. Um, but I mean, some decent potential there. So here's a potential option. We can even like save that as something we want to go back to. Um, what is this one right here? Okay, it's just normal house. Let me just look at. Let's see here. Do you like Charlottesville as a potential option for you?
Charlottesville is great, but there's a lot of restrictions on STRs. And then you can't have in that lake, you can't have STRs either.
Okay, so all this area you're not able to do
Yeah,
STR
no.
stuff. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so let me zoom out again. Then you have the Lynchburg area. Okay, so let's look at one of these options. This one, or this one. Here's some
That one, yeah.
cool ones. Okay, this is more like a
Okay,
condo,
fun.
and then let's just
There's
see
a
what
lot
this
of
other.
those in wintergreen.
Right. Okay. Well, this one up here is kind of interesting. So let's just go look at this Shenandoah one. Or that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this one versus the other?
Go through some of the pictures. Oh.
Is this a pretty good area? It's just north
Mhm.
of this.
Yeah, it's by lots of mountains and hiking and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely needs improvements for sure. Peter, are you familiar with these areas?
No, I'm not. I
So
was going to ask why, like, what in Virginia? Why is it that people come to this area? Like, what is it about?
The
You said hiking. What else?
Shenandoah National Park is right
Okay.
there. That mountain range that he's on. And then there's a bunch of wineries. It's like huge wine region as well.
this one's
Nice.
kind of cool.
That's interesting.
This is
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
this one's Riva, is that what it's called?
So Matt, is this pulling? This is pulling all the data from like a local MLS into the system. So
Yeah,
you're
so this
seeing.
is pulling the MLS in, and then we're using, remember that comps dashboard we showed you at the
Yeah,
conference?
that's overlaid on
Um,
top of it.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of the intelligence brain that like pushes the
Nice.
revenue on top of these properties. So then you can go like verify the comps here when you're looking at it. So like this one's kind of cool. Let's just
I
use
like that
this
one.
as
Let's do that one.
the potential example. Like it already is pretty nice condition, and it's got a bunch of land too. So let's do this. Okay. So we found a property. It's a decent purchase price, 4 bedroom. It's near Shenandoah. And it's showing, interesting signals for us. And so what I like to do is I usually like to underwrite properties based on this like 75th percentile, and it just automatically updates your revenue. So there's two pieces of the underwriting that we have to learn is finding the property and then going through this whole like process, and then also validating and verifying with the comps. So let's go validate the comps on this particular property. So we already clicked here. Let me log in here. Sorry, thought I was already logged in.
Happened to me yesterday on an onboarding call. Right after I had talked with Peter and was already on it, it was like, no, you're gonna have to log in again. I was like,
I
okay.
know. You just never know when it's going to make you do it. Okay. So cool. We're logged in. It already pulled up the property right here. So there's not a ton of comps in that area, but there's some. And so here's what I'm seeing. This one's a 4 bedroom. So let's just type in 4 bedrooms and see what this shows. Okay, there's only 4 comps that are showing, or maybe like 2 comps. So let's go to like 3 to 5 bedrooms and just see what that potential looks like. 9. Okay, so like 105,000 on like that 75th percentile. Let's just compare. So this is showing kind of similar numbers to that. So what I would do is honestly, I would modify this to like 100 grand just to be a little bit more conservative since there's like limited comps. And so let's just juice that down to like 500, maybe in like 489. Okay, close. It's closer to like 100 grand. Cool. So now we found the property. We're underwriting it. Now we validated with all the comps to see what your competitors are doing. And now we can actually go see some of these competitors to see what they look like, just to get some ideas. So it really like the good design amenities, um, cool photos like moody photos. See if we can go to the listing on some of these. But I'm not seeing like any like lifestyle photos, but it looks like Shenandoah is like the major driver right there. So what I would do again, we're gonna go through it fast, and then what I'll show you next steps on it. So like we underwrite it based on that revenue. Um, most properties you can usually at least get 3% off the purchase price as a negotiation tactic in this today's market. For now, I just leave it as is. Um, I also like to see if there's any rooms that you could convert to additional square footage. Um, and I like to see like there's tons of land where you could do all sorts of cool stuff out there. And there might be some additional living rooms that you can look into to see if you can add more beds or additional sleeping. But for now, we'll just leave it like that. And then let's do startup cost. Honestly, it's probably going to be like at least $50,000
Mm-hmm.
you want to do, maybe more. Let's just say in your case, what would you feel comfortable with versus getting capital partner? I guess you would have to get capital partner, right?
I would have to at this point. Yeah.
So I think just being conservative, I would assume like 50K for like paint, wallpaper, cool stuff in
Mm-hmm.
the backyard, all that. $50K for like furnishing. It might be $50K total. You might not even need all that, but maybe just do like 25 just to be not to try to spend so much. And then
Mhm.
you can either do it on your own or you could hire Summer-Led, Funkit, one of these groups
Mhm.
to go do it. I would at least get a professional design from someone, and then you could go
Right.
implement it if you're trying to save costs. And then you would manage it on your own, right?
Mhm.
And then we've got all the expenses already there for you. Now insurance
Where's that
because
coming from? That's pulling from your data sources?
yes. And this
Okay.
shows how we come up with each of these numbers. Again, these numbers won't be 100% perfect, but they'll be pretty close to where it underwrites it, and then you can just go make tweaks. What I've noticed, and I need to get with my tech guy on this, is insurance is historically lower on our platform than what it should be because these are not residential properties. These are
Right. Right.
technically commercial assets that
They're not covering loss of
yeah.
use and business income, and they're yeah.
So I would juice that up to like 3 grand for that. No HOA. And then sometimes I like to put in an extra, $1,000 a year for something. Just you never know what's going to come up. Then financing, I would do probably like 10% down. Although if you bring in an investor, if you do 10% down, you're probably gonna have to leverage their debt to income ratios as a second
Mhm.
for them. Or you could do 20% down just to be conservative. And that's where you could do a DSCR property and you don't have to look at either of your tax returns and you can close in the LLC. There's different reasons for that, which we'll talk about in the future steps. And then 7% interest rate seems reasonable. And so here's your total principal, interest, taxes, insurance that you're gonna have to cover every single month is $2,900. So at least you need to make that plus your operating expenses on top. So we'll say Emily's property. Let's just see. This one's showing a 26% cash on cash makes $3,600 a month in net cash flow. So this is now step 3, learning how to underwrite. So we just now finalized a property. We have the numbers. We validated with the comps, although the comp set is a little still limited with 9, which gives me a little concern. Usually you want like 10 or 15 plus comps. So at this point, and this gets into like make the offer, the next step that you would want to take is to copy this link and go to, you know, an agent in that market or go to one of our agents that we have here and contact them and then send them that link and be like, "Hey, I found this cool property near Shenandoah. Like, here's the price. Here's what I'm seeing in the full details. Like, what do you think?" And that's
Yeah.
where, again, Stripe gets you like 90, 95% there. And then the local people can help like get you over the hump with feeling confident. And you can just do this over and over again until you find one with an agent that are like, dang, yeah, like this one's awesome. Like you should totally move forward with this one.
Yeah.
Also, just something to be aware of, which this, Emily, but I don't know if Peter and Olga know this, but like, um, let's see, all these designers do like free intro calls where like you could send them this property and be like, "Hey, can we jump on a free design call?" And they'll give you like all this value for free. And like, "Oh, that's a cool property. You should think about these like 7 amenities. And if you spent this amount of money, you could achieve this revenue threshold." And they'll actually give you really good insights based on projects they've done like in that area. And it's all for free. And then you could take those insights you learn and just go like refine your pro forma you do and just learn from what they're doing and the agents. And also, you probably want to reach out to a lender as well and just say, hey, like, here's what I'm thinking. Does a 7% interest rate feel reasonable based on a DSCR loan or a second home loan? And so once you do those 3 things, that'll make the pro forma
Even
almost,
stronger.
yeah, way stronger. And then, again, we're trying to sell confidence. So at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to spend 100 grand unless you're really confident in it. And the pro forma, really making that bulletproof is the way to make you feel way more confident about doing it. So
Yeah.
questions, Emily, Peter, Olga, thoughts from y'all?
Can you talk a little bit about amenities? Like, is there a way to look at? I know there's a pretty low comp set, but what do they have for amenities, and what's driving increased revenue? Like, what amenities are worth putting in this area?
Yeah. I'm just gonna expand this out just a little bit more to like 2 to 6 bedrooms here.
You can also do
Awesome.
the mile radius too.
True. Yeah, let me do like a 10-mile radius. Okay, like 15. Okay, good idea. Let me juice that back down. Okay, cool. So we have this filter here that takes kind of like the major amenities, but it just depends. Like some markets, it doesn't. It's not very helpful. Some markets, it's super helpful. And then with the use of AI, it'll just get better. But like sometimes, like a pool will have like a huge impact on revenue. Where like here, it looks like it doesn't really have that big of an impact. Sometimes hot tubs have like a huge impact. It just kind of depends. So this is kind of a good guide for it. But where I usually get into the amenities is I'll just filter from highest to lowest revenue. And again, and just look at the top comps and just start to see a trend for like how many bedrooms do they have? What do the pictures look like on this one here, and just go to the actual listing itself. Okay, that one has a pool. It's got really nice design. And you could it's on a body of water. It's got swing sets outside. So, um, the way we're able to get around amenities right now is just filter for the best, and then you just take those 5 to top 10, top 5 to 10 properties and really start analyzing those top 10 comps and just doing what they're doing or better, essentially.
Cool.
I think I cut out. Are y'all there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this one has a lot of land, a fire pit, really cool views, hammocks. So there's a way to get all sorts of ideas from like this
What
top
town is that?
This one's in, let me see, Robertson, Virginia.
Never heard of it.
Virginia.
But there you go, wine
Virginia looks
country.
nice.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's wine country. It's a lot of acres out there. So honestly, I mean, one of my favorite things I've been doing lately, and I learned some of this from Michael Elefante too, is these kind of tertiary markets outside of these larger areas, or like we're like wine countries or whatever. If you're able to get like these big acreage properties, or at least big bedroom properties, like 7+ bedrooms, there's like zero competition out there for these like mega properties. Usually they cost more, but like in Robertson, Virginia, it may not be that expensive,
Right.
relatively speaking. But usually if you do something like that, you need to pack it tight full of amenities and spend quite a bit. So Emily, in your case, you're trying to convince a capital partner to trust you. And right now you don't have an STR to like say, hey, I'm doing this. All you can
Right.
say is, hey, I work with Strike, so I know the data. So usually you probably want to start with like a friend or family member that trusts you and is willing to spend at least 100,000 on a property that's 200 grand up to a million, maybe, as like a first one to start with.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I have to jump to another call, but this was really helpful, and I'll join you in the future.
Awesome.
Nice to
Thank
see
you
you guys.
for coming on, Peter, man.
Right,
But
talk soon.
that's it for step 3. So next week is more make the offer. So we'll talk about that. I'm a real estate broker, so I'll tell you what I would do if I were you from a real estate standpoint. We could use this as an example, or an example in Texas. But that is it for today for learning how to underwrite. Any other questions from Emily or Olga before we jump off?
Thank you. I joined. I think I missed everything.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Well,
this recorded, so
we recorded it.
yeah.
And Emily,
Yeah.
are you posting these recordings on school later?
I need to. I still haven't posted the last one, but because I was trying to figure out how from school.
Okay.
But
If we have a hard time doing it with school, we may just want to pivot back to Zoom. But
yeah.
totally up to you. But yeah, see if you can get this one and post it so that people can see it if they want to.
Yeah. Will do.
Mhm.
So